I always want to say like 23 years old, the first time I really kind of got into alcohol. So it was always, marijuana. And then as I got older and out of high school and got on the road, and basically went to Florida, I got into meth. So coke, cocaine, crack cocaine, snorting cocaine. So it just kind of, in my rebellious time, exploded.
January 24th, 2018, I OD'd in the bathroom, and they're like, you flatlined, for a minute and a half, and they hit me with 5 Narcan sticks, and I was just like, geez. And the first thing I thought of when I woke up was my next use. How am I gonna get that same drug if we could do that? I just won't do, the dose I did last time. And I got taken to jail right there, and the way I look at that is that one cop that talked to me probably saved my life, because I probably wouldn't have survived that night.
The whole idea was we were clinics and organizations that worked in kind of our own spaces. And what we wanted was something that was a little more concerted. We all wanted to make a difference within our own communities, but we weren't necessarily working together.
Makwi comes from a Penobscot word meaning togetherness. And the goal is to create a sense of collaboration, of shared responsibility, so that no community needs to feel isolated or by itself or cut off from resources.
So Makwi is really, it sort of generated out of a plan to help this community deal with specifically substance abuse, but it's more about looking at the whole picture.
When I talked about the coordination and the coalition of the different organizations, the idea was to sort of, how do we all work together? Braiding sweetgrass is much the same. And basically you have your individual strands that you're trying to thread together to make a final product, which basically is stronger than each individual.
So Makwi is a consultative effort. So the treatment programs happen in the communities. We're supporting them to implement or grow their medication-assisted treatment program. And so we're providing training, we're providing consultation.
I am the Executive Director of Wabanaki Health and Wellness, and I'm the Program Manager for the Wabanaki Division of Cornerstone, which is the program that we operate the medication-assisted treatment program. I say my job really is serving my relatives because we are all very interrelated. The community that I serve is the community that I'm from.
The vision of Makwi is beautiful and important to open resources to our community and an opportunity for a larger community to understand the population around them.
Including somebody's culture into their treatment is vital. You cannot assist someone in the process of change without understanding where they're coming from.
Something I've noticed in my time as a Native provider within a Native community is that one is I should never assume that I know where somebody's coming from. How much culture they have in their own life and experience is very different from person to person. So the key is really not to assume much of anything.
Culture, is very, very important, and to understand culture, but I also think it's one of those things that it's really hard to explain to someone in a short sentence or an hour or even a day. I mean, we have had at least 11,000 year history here. So when we're providing services, I bring that experience being a Wabanaki person and first relating to another Wabanaki person and using that connectedness that we have. It's really like a kinship. And so when somebody walks through the door, it's not just, hey, there's a client calling. It's our relative. And what would you do if your relative called and asked for help?
And hopefully that they know how much we honor and respect them and value them. They might not have that experience moving through the world in other places, but I hope we can give them that experience here.
And that's where the narrative piece comes into, is that listening. I need to listen to them tell me what they need from me.
Stories are the backbone of Native culture, and education proceeds through story. That through story we form our identity, and that we want to help people to tell a better story about themselves. Part of what we're doing is bringing those traditional stories to the forefront as teaching tools, for people to incorporate into how they think about themselves.
The biggest thing is I'm me again. I'm like, I feel it's been many, many, many years that I've felt as happy as I do now. I look forward to every day, and I look forward to things down the road, whereas before an active addiction, I didn't care. I get the teddy bear reference a lot. I'm the big burly guy with a bunch of tattoos, but realistically inside, I'm just a soft teddy bear. So. Yeah, it's allowed me to, I feel like that again, I feel alive again.
I'm fueling my recovery, getting my fill of by helping others. That's how my recovery works. The best thing about what I do is seeing the person from their fragile state when they first want to get clean to right down to where they're sick and they're asking for help. And I watch them from day one plant that seed, and it grows to like probably 4 or 5 months clean, and when they come in every time looking clean, looking happier, all that, there's no other greater feeling than that, knowing that we help that person and they're freaking coming in, they're happier, they're clean, they're basically coming out of their shell.
I would love to see a recovery network or a recovery community being built. And what I mean by that is basically not only people in recovery who have successfully gone from addiction to recovery, but also a supportive community, whether it be family, extended family, friends, or the whole community, to actually have everybody is in a state of recovery, supportive of each other.
But I think we've built that trust now, and we're moving along in a good way, and I think we'll keep going.
I think the number one success is to bring people together with this important issue that's facing our communities, and to put our heads together and to help us mobilize our energies and our collective strengths to move to the common goal of making sure that we're addressing the opioid epidemic and preventing deaths in our community.
Saturday I celebrated a year of sobriety, so October 17th, 4 o'clock in the morning on October 17th of last year, I did my last hit of heroin, and that's been it. I never plan on touching it ever again, so, or any other drug for that matter.
I know I'll have my addiction for the rest of my life. I have to fight it back. My addictions, people think I got it, you got it. Nobody's got it. Nobody's cured. My addiction is doing push-ups behind my back every day, getting strong and strong. I just gotta know how to keep them at bay. Take one day at a time and not get overwhelmed with it. I don't judge people, I don't judge addicts. I definitely don't bash on them, I try to help them. Like, those are my people, It's about the next person that needs help.